Okay, I'm going to do a demonstration showing you how to break down the quick flow sketching. I'm going to do the video, the demo, and this video will be, let me go ahead and show you top down. We'll use the indigo blue coal erase pencil that's in your supply kit. This is basically a 2B pencil, and this is the Create a Color Nero pencil. So I'll draw with the blue. You could do the whole thing with the blue. If you want to do any accent drawing on top of that, you will basically use either the 2B or the Nero pencil. Okay, so I have the image on the side here. I'm going to walk through it slowly for anybody who's new to this, so we're not trying to rush against time, so you can just see what I'm seeing and how I'm blocking it in. Okay, so I'll do it a little slower in a moment, but you'll still get the basic idea. So let's get into it. Okay, all right. So I'm going to take this coal erase pencil. So when I have something like this, you should adequately warm up. I did not, but that's okay. You'll still be able to see what I have. You can see my pencil is not really that sharp. Okay. Now, when I have a drawing like this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to locate the head shape, right? Because we know that the body has three main parts. Okay. So what that means is we have the head here. You have the rib cage, which is part of the torso, and then we have the pelvic area, right? So if I were to draw this in stick figure form, here, I'll draw it like this, okay? So we have the circle, okay? Then we have the face, which I like to draw with this sort of inverted triangle shape. I don't usually draw it like that, but it's just so you can see that it's a triangle. Usually I do this, okay? So you have your first shape. Okay, now we have the rib cage. Now we have the neck, and then when we look, the body, the torso is, really pushing this way, right? So you can't see that. Let me make it a little bit darker. Okay, and then we see the rib cage is essentially here. Okay, and then we see the lower torso part of the body is right, or not lower torso, that pelvic area is right here. Okay, and then we have the shape that flows into that, right? And then we draw into the legs. Now, so you can see basically these are the main shapes. So I'll get into legs in a second, but let me come back over here and show you another way you can go about this. Same idea, right? Right. We get the head. Actually, the head is more tucked downward than the way I have it. Okay. So now, before I was talking a lot about stretch and compression. So you can push the body, the curvature of the motion this way, right? And if we look at the lower back, that would be right where this rib cage is, right? So here's my compression, like this. Okay, and then you can just basically block into shape like this initially. Now with this will give me enough where I can come in after the fact and locate where I think the rib is going to be, and then I can come back in and really try to locate the lower half of the hips. Whichever works for you, do, okay? So that's really important, is distinction, okay? Everyone thinks differently. I usually do that stretch compression quite a bit, but sometimes if I feel like my drawings are becoming a little less structured, then I will do the three different pieces, right? Where we got 1, 2, and 3. All right, so let me take this off. Okay, so you can see now, let me sharpen this just a little bit. All right, so let's go ahead and do this again. All right, so now we're going to do it in a way where I'm really going to start playing around with it. So I'm looking at the pose and I loosely draw the head. Okay, I'm looking at the face. So if you take this right here, it tells me the tilt of the face, so I can put it here. So there's the tilt. The neck looks like it's about here, and I could see the axis line of the shoulder is here. Okay, so it looks like it's about here. Okay, now in terms of what's happening, the curve of the body I can see is pulling from about his nose, and it feels like it's really sweeping, right? So I'm going to sweep as much as I can like that for the outer edge. So from this point, I'm going to now draw what I think is the rib cage. Okay, now when I look, we have the rib cage and we have the lower back, which is about here. Okay, it's right about here. Okay, and when I repeat my shapes, also this is important, when I'm drawing my lines, I'm doing long, I'm doing the whole circle. I'm not going like this around, okay? I'm doing long sweeps to really try to reinforce that gesture. Now, when we get to the hips, you can either draw a circle or you can draw a box. When I see something like this and I see a strong angle, sometimes I'll use a box as my shape, even if it, might be the pelvic area. You could use a circle, but sometimes I like to use the pelvic box as a way to reinforce the gesture. Now, actually, his is going more this way, so I'll go like that. Okay, and so I'll do it this way. If I were drawing across, it's more of this shape like that. Okay, you don't have to do this because I can get a little bit more complicated, right? I can erase if necessary if I feel like I've put in too much. Okay, now what I do is I look. Okay, so I say, okay, looks like, and actually I think even my angle here is wrong. It looks like it's going up to me and across. But even still, honestly, it won't even matter this much. You shouldn't be doing this much on the, here, actually, I'm going to erase it out because I think I'm spending way too much time on that for this lecture because we're doing quick flow. So let me go back and do it more like this. And then I'm going to use this as my center line for the triangles. So I'm just showing you, you can pivot your design. And I think it's important to see me do that because I could say I was about to get caught up in a bunch of stuff that really didn't matter for a quick flow drawing. So when I look at the leg, okay, so I imagine on the other side, if I had a circle like this, and this is why also having different methods for drawing allows you to make a pivot. So if I think of the bone, right, of this thigh bone, it goes up into a shape like this. It has a curve to it. I'm drawing from the center on this particular section. So if we think about it from a tube cylinder, this is basically what we have, like that. Okay. Now, imagine this is the soft tissue right here. So here's an edge and here's an edge. So do you want to draw from the outer edge or from the calf? On this particular pose, I don't know that it's going to matter that much, but you can also just think about the bone. You could also do that and add a little bit of an S curve. Now, how do you know how long to make this? So when I take the head, so if you look from here to here, this is 1, 2, then we go from here, 1, 2. Okay. And then keep the shape like this. Okay, now short muscle, long muscle. Okay, this side, remember we were talking about in class, we want to make sure these are not mirrored. Then we go over here, we have the bone. It's right here. Now, sometimes I don't draw this bone, but I'm doing it here so you can see structurally what's happening. Long curve. Okay, now whether this is the bone or not doesn't really matter. I'm using that as my gesture. Okay, long curve like that. This is a little bit long. I can see that, so it probably should be here, but that's okay. Now, shoulder is right here. I can see the shape. Here's the bone. One head length from here to here. That's how I find my location. Okay. And then, okay. So it's opposite, right? So I'm not doing this and this. Opposite. Box. Usually what I would do for gesture. Something like that. Okay. Bicep. Okay, this is not the bottom. I'm going to extend this so it's here like that. So here's the back of the shoulder, right? So if I put a center line here, this divides the width of the back. So that lets me know that this is twisting, okay? So now that means if I were to draw a point up here, here's my other shoulder, it becomes short, okay? So there's the bicep right here. And the gesture, I'm gonna go like this, and then I'm gonna bend the wrist back, like that, okay? Like that, okay? So now I'm starting to get the movement. And again, these are supposed to be fast, but I'm walked through this so you can hear me talk about what's happening. Okay, so let me actually switch over to the 2B pencil so you can just see the lines and emphasize a little bit more weight. Okay. Long strokes. Okay. Oh, I should have shortened it up. So I'll do that right here. Shorten. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Again, this is all about energy. So I'm not doing a pretty drawing right now. That would be a second pass. Okay. Okay. Everything's just moving fast. And when I draw it top down, I do draw more in this handwriting grip position. Okay. All right. So this drawing lets you see kind of the logic behind everything that I'm doing. So what I'll do is I'll end this video and I'll start another video and you'll see me do the same thing just faster, or you'll just watch me do it instead of me giving commentary so you can see that. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that.